In this video I want to show you some techniques how to improve any texture. So initially I should record the feedback session with one of my followers, but the whole recording messed up and I was upset about this. That's why I will open the texture in 3D code. I will use this software for texture painting, but of course you can apply all these painting principles in Substance Painter, in Blender as well. This is the work that I got. You can see it's low poly in arcane style. I can see right away that we can improve the highlights, the painting techniques, the patterns, but the main problem could be in the process and in the software itself. I told her that it's way easier if you're a beginner to start with sculpting, making maps and color base in Substance Painter, because if we have a low poly, we need to paint all the volume, all the small details by hand. For some people it's extremely hard, especially if you don't have any experience in painting. Every face that we have on this object, every detail should be painted manually and it should have its unique information about light. And first the light source will come from above. But for some reason we have some dark values here. For example, this color is the same as here. It shouldn't be like this, that's why we can simply pick a bit darker color. And first we need to block light and shadow. In 3D code press on 4 to simply block it faster. Only then we need to pick very bright highlight and paint it on the sharpest place, basically on this corner. So even from the distance we can clearly see the before and after. If you don't have much of the painting experience, if you can't paint any illustrations, it will be very hard for you to paint on the model. It's even harder than painting in Photoshop. That's why even in the industry some of the people take low poly models, they sculpt a bit of information on them, bake it, use Substance Painter for color base and then paint on top. For example, we can have some simple sculpt like this, and then you can apply any generator. Of course I suggest to use the best one or Simple Diffuse, and you can see in few seconds you can get such a result. Now imagine that you have a plane on low poly and you need to paint all of these coins. Like, it's extremely hard. It's better to model these simple coins, put them on top, simply bake it and use Substance Painter, and in literally a few seconds you'll get a result like this. This pipeline is what I will teach my students in the upcoming course. You can see this color base, and I think right now you will see the final render. I will texture it step by step, mainly in real time. Then guys, another useful tip: if you have any other material on your model, any pattern, any information, it's better to add volume to it. What can I make is to pick this color, make it darker, a bit colder. I will simply add shadow on separate layer like this, even on this smaller. Only then I need to pick general color, make it brighter, a bit warmer, and put brighter highlight, usually on the corners, on most inflated parts. And this way we can simply add more volume and this nice hand paint feel. And you know what? I discovered the main mistake of all beginners. You simply don't blend your colors enough. For example, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 values. Maybe a bit more if you zoom closely, but visually there are only 4 or 5 values. You can always blend colors in between to achieve more volume. Like this. Also put the highlight on top. You can see this way I kinda achieved completely new information here. Of course we can continue the highlight, make sure they interact with other surface, with these round parts. So yeah, we should keep the flow. We should definitely remove all these tiny lines, even continue them like this. And let's see before and after. Such big surfaces like this cylindrical shape, we need to blend colors. Right now everything like too sharp. I will increase the size of the brush. Yep, and I will simply blend it. And it's simply better to make it in Substance Painter. Color base will make everything for you, and only then it's important not to mess up it with highlights. Let's take a look how I will paint patterns like this. Simply by cutting these colors, as my technique that I teach students. I will cut it quickly. Usually I pick neighbor colors and I'm pressing hard. And now there are only 2 values. What can we make? Make the color a bit darker and put the shadows. Yep, only then pick brighter color, and we don't need to paint harder like this. We actually need to blend it. That's the main problem, that people don't blend colors enough. Like here I have the highlight, it looks bright, but it's actually blended with the surface. And you can quickly see the difference before and after. Very simple example. Same for this one, we have only two values. Let's blend it together. We have the flow in the highlights, and this is completely a huge topic, like the flow of it. And by the way, I teach this in my webinar and in the course itself. Let's put the highlight here as well. I can even paint these highlights harder, but the thing, instead of two values like here, I have probably 6, and all of them are kinda blended. Of course, I talked to the author of this work, I gave her direction. It's better to start with simpler models and learn the correct pipeline. Start with the color base. Make sure it's kind of soft and you clearly see light and shadow, and only then try to place highlights where you have very bright curvature. So turn these tiny boring lines to other shapes simply by painting on top. And guys, sometimes it's better to start right away with the correct pipeline, with the correct color base, and simply add few of the highlights. Don't add them everywhere. And this is exactly what I explained to my students on my free webinar. We will talk about this exact pipeline, and I will give you more information. I will start a group of my personal upcoming course. It's for those who want to really push it, because we start from scratch, we're going deep into details. It will be a bit hard in the beginning to learn all the art fundamentals and fundamentals of design, but yeah, I will say it's worth it, especially with my feedback and live streams. Thanks guys, I will see you on the webinar.